Board Policy Number 3232, Parent, Guardian, and Student Rights and Administration of Surveys, Analysis, or Evaluations. This came before the C&I Committee June 11 for consideration. Approval of this item would amend Board Policy 3232 to incorporate language from a model policy from the Washington State School Directors Association, WASDA, and federal policy guidance in the Protection of Pupil Rights Amendment, PPRA. I see Chief Academic Officer Diane DeBacker coming to the podium. Take it away, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you, President Harris. On behalf of the Research and Evaluation Team, I am pleased to bring to you for consideration Policy 3232, Parent, Guardian, and Student Rights and Administration of Surveys, Analysis, or Evaluations. As you know, this policy has been a long time coming to you. We started reviewing it last September and continued to discuss the proposed changes with the Curriculum and Instruction Committee until we were satisfied that the policy was ready to come to the full board. Student data privacy is of the utmost importance to families. And our policy goal when it comes to student data privacy is to ensure the rights of parents and guardians and the responsibility of district staff as those surveys are done. We believe this revised policy clarifies these rights and responsibilities, specifically with respect to surveys and other forms of student data collected for the purposes of research, evaluation, or analysis in a program or project. The policy represents a collaborative effort. We received significant input from district staff, external stakeholders, board directors, all of which helped push us to develop remedies for the deficiencies in our previous policy. And I want to acknowledge that as we bring this forward, the Curriculum and Instruction Committee asks that we do so contingent upon two things. First, they ask that we revise the policy to improve transparency so that families can easily understand their rights and protections. We therefore departed from the WASDA model and the WASDA language, rather, and we recrafted it so that it is a clear declaration of rights and responsibilities while maintaining references to federal law in the Protection of Pupil Rights and Amendments, or PPRA. For example, our most recent changes now detail the specific cases for opt-in and opt-out parental consent. So it's much clearer in that regard. It also distinguishes this policy from that of 4280, which is about external researchers and our own research review process. The second thing that the committee asked us to do is they asked that we complete the superintendent procedures in time for the board to fully review those in August. We are on schedule for that as we review those procedures. We'll continue our engagement work. We'll take questions from each of you with that, but you will have those procedures to review or look at as you consider the policy that comes before you. There are a couple things that we want to keep in mind as we look at that, at the procedures: the rights of parents to inspect the surveys or other materials that are used to collect student data, notification requirements to families about future data collections that may be coming their way, and finally, detailed information regarding the opt-in and the opt-out procedures. As mentioned, we are on schedule to meet the August deadline, and in order to do that, and why we're bringing it to you today, is that we want to have an insert in the back-to-school packets so that families know that that we're working on this. We believe that the revisions that we've made so far represents the feedback that we've received from external, internal, and each of you. We're glad that each of you have had a very an increased interest in this particular issue. And with that, I stand for questions, and I think we also have some people who are available either by phone or if you have any questions. But this is just intro, so we have plenty of time. Questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, Director Gary, I just wanted to say, I believe one of the changes that was made, and I appreciate it, is the distinction, adding the language so that it highlights the fact that there are both federally led inquiries and then there are district-led inquiries. And I think evaluations or surveys and analysis. So I just appreciate that clarification, and I think that was something that we discussed in committee.
Thank you, Director Geary. I have a question for you, and that would be if they're going in the student first day packets, you get a ream of paper, some of which has to be filled out and turned back in, different colors. Does it get lost in that package?
I suppose it could get lost in the package, but that's not the only thing that we're going to do in order to make sure that others are aware. We will be working with our principals, making sure that they are aware of the changes. As we know, there are many people that interact with schools, especially as we think about community-based organizations that may want to do some type of a survey with the school. So what we'll be doing with the principals is alerting them to the change in this policy and alerting them to what needs to happen before they give access to any student data or any student input. So we'll also be doing that.
And in terms of some of our families and communities that are, quote, furthest away from educational justice, ELL, translations, does it make sense to do some of the posters at the front doors of all of our schools, much like we see for Title IX and other rights? Because this is an issue that we literally have received thousands of emails in the last 4 years. This is an issue that is a pinch point for us and our trust, and unfortunately in the past, our trust has been broken. And I hope that we can be more proactive about this other than just inform, that we can make it big, loud, and proud. I am beyond thrilled of these changes. I appreciate that you inherited a great many of these, having started in January, and I appreciate you lighting a fire under them. Many, many thanks. Director DeWolf.
Thanks, President Harris. I have two questions. One, what was the family or community engagement process? How were folks consulted, and kind of what was that process?
I'm not sure that I can answer that specifically. Dr. Eric Anderson and Dr. Jessica Sanders have worked on this. We will bring that back to you and get that information to you with specifics around that.
Okay, that's great. And then the only other thing was in the board committee recommendation in the document that I'm reading. It says on June 11th, this was moved forward with a recommendation for approval, but we're hearing it as consideration today. So just to be thoughtful about what actually was it in that meeting.
The community engagement, you've got 3 paragraphs here on the proposed bar with many of our community-based organizations and fellow governmental entities listed.
I was just
and the
trying to give an opportunity for public.
And the community engagement toolkit was used, which pleases me no end, as we know that's one of my pet issues at best. And I'm thrilled about that. I'm also thrilled that we're working with the county because we've accepted grant money in the past, and some things did in fact slip by us, but again, we've fixed that. And we do listen, and I'm proud of the fact that we have addressed this fact. So here's one of those will of the body issues. We have 20 folks signed up for testimony. We have 13 on the wait list. And I'm wondering if we have some of those 20 folks, maybe 10 folks that would be willing to come forward that are available now to start public testimony. This is videotaped. We have a record. I appreciate the folks that are nodding their head no, but I also appreciate that we are on video, and I also appreciate that I've received a legal opinion that we're in good stead here as long as we continue our public testimony at 5:30. Again, I remind folks that our directors, 2 of whom have called in on their family and vacation time have made room in their schedule, and I would not like to have dead air here. So let's go with 10 folks to testify. That leaves some room open for those so that we can work with the wait list when we reconvene at 5:30 after the 10 folks. We'll take them in order. 10 folks testify, then we'll take a break, then we'll start up at 5:30 so that no one is cut out of the loop. Can you start with the 3 names, please? And I will read the public testimony information as soon as, here we go. In accordance with Board Policy 1430 and corresponding Board Procedure 1430 BP, and I'll read this again at 5:30 for those that are shaking their head. One person is to speak at a time. Comments will be directed to the board. Please adhere to the time limit on testimony. You will have a yellow light when you have 30 seconds left. After 2 minutes, the red light will come up. Please cease your comments at that time. Please respect the rest of the community. When you go over your testimony, you're burning the rest of the community. It's also very disrespectful. The focus of the comments should be on issues and solutions. The majority of the speaker's time must be spent on the topic he or she, you, have indicated you wish to speak about. No racial slurs, personal insults, ridicule, or threats will be allowed. No comments regarding personnel matters, and all signs brought to the meeting are subject to these ground rules. And I will add another caveat this evening. Litigation has been started regarding UNEA's leaving Robert Eagle Staff Middle School, Licton Springs, and no board member, given the fact that legal proceedings have been started, may respond to any comments that are brought forth in public testimony. We have been advised by counsel we are prohibited from doing so. So please appreciate the pinch point that that puts us in.
First up for public testimony is Joanne Pinkham, followed by Chris Jackins, and then Julie Van Arken.
Okay, it's been pointed out to me, if someone doesn't want to testify now, you still have your space at 5:30 because we're only taking 10 folks. So we're doing the best we can here, folks. Trying to be nimble and flexible.
So, Joanne? No? Okay. Chris Jackins?
Excuse me, sir.
Julie?
Please don't do that.
Go ahead.
Thank you. If you would like to wait and come back, you may, sir. You're welcome. And please give your name for the record when you start.
Hi, my name is Julie Van Arken, and I'm here today to talk about the dress code, neurologically diverse children, and true inclusivity. I'm not sure if you've seen the Netflix comedy special Nanette by Hannah Gadsby. If not, it's amazing and everyone should see it. Anyway, I saw her perform a new show here in Seattle last month, and she spoke about how hard it is to live as an autistic person in a neurotypical world. Not to steal her joke, but she said it's like being the only sober person at a party full of drunks. She said she feels like an outsider all the time. Another thing she said that stuck with me is that she can only wear the color blue. She can't really explain it, it's just who she is, and I believe her. Anyway, I was thinking about what it would be like if Hannah Gadsby were a student here at SPS and she had to go to a school with uniforms. Sure, her parents could pursue accommodations. Accommodations are great. You know, they could call for an SSTT meeting, maybe bring a doctor's note about why she can only wear the color blue, and maybe after 30 days, they'd hear back about whether she'd be allowed to wear the color blue at school. And this little autistic girl, who already feels like an outsider every single day would be allowed to wear blue in a sea of white and khaki. Yeah, accommodations are great. But do you know what's even better than accommodations is not needing accommodations, because the school environment was set up to be truly inclusive from the start. That's the district that I want to be part of, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
David Simonton. Craig Seychelles. Liz Kaus. Tuesday Chambers. Marjorie Alden Dowd. Carol Simmons. Chandler Charles. Alex Zimmerman.
Hi. 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 Good moving. That's exactly what as I speak about this. Sie Heil, my dirty low-class Führer. Sie Heil, Nazi social democratic mafia with progressive Gestapo principle. My name Alex Zimmerman. I want to speak about something what has happened last meeting when this young boy come to me and take me out and security out. I don't blame him. You know what this mean? Young children always have too many problems. I have children too, like everybody. But you're responsible for this. You don't stop on him. It's a problem what is we have. It's a fundamental problem what is we have in Seattle. Because Seattle right now is a #1 fascist city in America, and all America recognizes from East Coast to West Coast. It's not only my opinion right now. 300 million people recognize Seattle #1 fascist city in America. And you make this for last 30 years. I live more than 30 years, but you doing this for 30 years with these 55,000 children, what is you brainwash? You not deliver to them American Constitution freedom of speech, so everybody have different opinion, and everybody supposed to be respect this opinion. You more dangerous than Nazi or communist, because between Nazi and communist not different. So this boy don't like a Nazi, but who is a Nazi? Not, he's a communist. So Nazi kill people, communists kill people. You understand about your talking? America have fundamental constitution and freedom of speech for 250 years. It's a first republic 250 years ago in this planet. You need respect. You doing this? No, because by definition you human garbage, and I told you about it many times. So right now I speak to everybody who listen to me. We need to come back to America, to freedom of speech, and be equal to everybody who have different opinion. It's a fundamental principle of America. Yeah, I'm fighting for this for all my life. Sieg Heil.
This piece of human garbage protected your First Amendment right at the last board meeting. Thank you. Please continue reading.
Thank you very much.
Jim Simmons. Vicki Pinkham. Rebecca Weinkoop. Lindy Wood. Blaine Parse. Anna Pavlik. Mohammed Asma. Yesenia Ortega. Genesis Akala.
Okay, we tried. We were trying to be nimble. We need to keep the package open for folks at 5:30. We are at rest until 5:30. Thank you.
I'm going to call back in then.